On this week's episode of the Crushing Debt podcast, 10 things holding you back from building wealth. So, welcome back to this week's episode of the Crushing Debt podcast. My name is Shawn Yesner, owner and founder of Yesner Law, and I'm joined as always by your financial coach, George Corbello. How you doing, George?
Good, good day, my friend. I'm doing okay. I have to say, for me, the countdown to graduations is coming, so we're very excited about that. But then I realized, talking about building wealth and probably, things, graduations seem to, really help not build wealth along the way. So, but we got prom dresses and I didn't realize how many dresses are needed for such occasions because there's I guess a black dress and a prom dress and a graduation dress and so yeah that's been us looking for dresses apparently on the weekends.
So, wait till do either of them have like a male friend in the picture?
Try not to. So if they do, they're close friends. Let's put it like that. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see. I don't know what the prom. We haven't discussed any of the rules for any of that coming up, but I'll keep everyone posted. But yeah, we'll see where that goes.
Because you think prom dresses are expensive. Wait till you start pricing wedding dresses.
Oh, geez. Yeah, I'm not, yeah, we're definitely not there yet. So, keep it, I think, but they do, again, there is some conversation right now about limos and how to get to the actual soiree. So we'll see how that goes. But yeah, again, ka-ching, 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 like, and we're still not even talking cap and gown. So this is fun.
Nice. So for what it's worth, I do have a friend of mine who owns a limo company. So
Ah,
let
there
me
you
know.
go. Nice referral. That's we'll keep definitely love that. Always networking on this show. I love it. Love it, buddy.
Always, 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 always. So yeah, no. So we I don't know, I'm gonna power through. I'm probably a little bit under the weather. Good
Hmm.
thing that we didn't meet yesterday so that to record that way I don't pass this crud over to
The
you.
gift, the gift of sick. Yeah, that's
Right.
unfortunately that does go around, especially in schools. But I'm grateful that you didn't want to pass pass a nice gift of cold.
Well, and it'll be interesting because I think it's just a bug. There's no fever,
Sure.
just some congestion, which I don't know if you can hear it or not, but just some congestion. So I'm hoping that when we record next week, or as you're listening to this show when it comes out on Thursday,
Right.
I will probably be over the hump and
Yeah.
on the way towards feeling better. Although I don't know, we'll see. Next Friday, I may have super sexy laryngitis. We'll find out.
That's what I was about to say. I think you want to recreate your first few episodes
Yeah.
of the podcast, where you had the jiving, deep, sexy voice there.
There you go. I may try. I may try. I may repeat that. So we'll see. But good news is, my girlfriend's a nurse, so she's
Ah,
gonna nurse me back to health. I'm
there
hoping.
you
So we'll
go.
see.
She's gonna tell you to go sleep and here's some vitamin C. That's
Yeah.
probably the best advice any person can give you.
Drink water. Go to sleep.
There you go.
Start over the next morning. Do it all over again. I'm at that goofy phase where I can't regulate my temperature. So after I eat, like after I ate breakfast, I was sweating. I I, I said I was sweating like Britney Spears working on a math problem.
This guy. Oh God. All right. Well, there you go. We're getting canceled already. Thank you for all the lovely emails about the comments. So we'll pass through this. Come on,
Right.
Sean. Come on.
So aside from that, we are talking about some things that are holding us back
Yeah.
from building wealth, which is actually kind of interesting because one of the things I'm actually in the middle of working on right now is finishing up all the reconciliations of all
Hmm.
the bank accounts at the law firm so I can get everything over to my CPA. We got less than a month before the corporate filing deadline. And then the month after that's the personal filing deadline. And so, yeah, just doing great stuff here as we record on a weekend, trying to recover from being sick and doing reconciliations.
It's got to be, I mean, anything to do with taxes and accounting has to be the easiest thing to put you to sleep to go to get the rest that you're looking for. But again, it is that time of year, folks. If you're a small business owner, if you're personal, it is tax season. So being on top of taxes, being able to have all your information, very important. If you're not like us, we're scrambling at the end here to make everything, put everything in folders and organize a lot of that. So I guess don't be us in that sense, but
Yeah, no, don't
get
be
out
us.
there and get it done. That's for sure. That's what we're doing for everyone and recommending everyone to do.
Yep. So I guess the title of this week's episode is 10 Things Holding You Back from Building Wealth. And I guess getting your taxes done on time is probably
That's a great,
10.5.
it'll be a theme for the rest of the month. Let's put it like that.
Right.
Love it.
So what do you think? What's something that may be holding us back from building wealth?
So I mean, the one obvious one and that always comes to mind, right, is the lifestyle inflation, lifestyle creep. For me, that's the one that seems to get us all. We get a raise, right? We get a bonus, we get a tax return, we get a promotion, and every dollar that's made through these great events, right, in our financial journey, the dollars are already spent before it even hits the right. We like the money
Right.
is coming, and we're like, we're gonna do something with it, right? And I think a lot of people, um, how do we look differently when it comes to those types of events? But I think also when we talk about lifestyle creep, right? We try to make more money, and then all of a sudden it's like we'll charge the rest. We'll do something more. I deserve because I work so hard, or I'm, the greatest parent in the world, or whatever it might be that comes to our head, right? Our lifestyle seems to be a little bit higher than our income. We're living a little bit beyond our means, and I think that's a number one wealth killer for sure.
Yeah. Now, one thing that you did say that I think I would want to clarify is that if you did get a raise, if you did get a big bonus, if you did get a big tax refund, there's no harm in going out and buying yourself
I
something nice to celebrate.
absolutely.
But you don't want to get a raise and then go out and buy a new car that bumps up your budget by,
That's it.
500 more dollars a month.
Exactly.
But, if you want to go out and treat yourself to a nice meal, if you've been looking at buying that thing on Amazon and you want to buy it, I don't see any harm there in rewarding yourself. And that might be because the other piece to this episode today is what you can do about it.
Correct.
And so I think one of the things you can do about lifestyle creep and inflation is go ahead and reward yourself. Just don't, I got a $10,000 raise, so I'm going to build a $15,000 pool in my backyard.
Right.
That's
Exactly.
not what you want to do.
And
But
yeah, I like that. No, I'm sorry there.
no, go ahead.
No, I think you got it right. I think for us it's kind of right. 15,000, you're not receiving it if especially if it's a raise, right? You're not receiving it now, and yet we've already put payments against that amount. And I think that's where we get into trouble. And I think a lot of times too, right? If we have other financial goals, getting out of debt, right? Getting savings up, investing more, if we don't think about those things first and automatically just spend it, that's where I feel that's where the opportunity, right? Again, we're talking about building wealth. Building
Right.
wealth is investing in ourselves, investing in our future, investing in the money that we have. So I think that, that's where I would say the first thing you do if you do get a raise, I'm not saying use it all, I would agree. Maybe half of it goes towards investing, right? And put the rule in place where it's like before we do any type of lifestyle purchase, we've done investing with some, with that money, whether it's
Right.
50%, whatever, but a number, some of that number of that money is going to investing first. And I think that for me is a nice rule of thumb so that you can continue to build wealth and still reward you, right? Reward yourself for such great work in the past year, or that promotion, or whatever that might be, the bonus that you're getting for all the hard work over the year.
Yeah. No, I completely agree with you. I think another thing that may be holding us back from building wealth is high interest debt,
Yeah,
high interest rate debt. Interesting story. My son, I don't know if I mentioned this before, but this past year for Hanukkah, my son got a brand new L-shaped desk with a credenza and a brand new shelf unit from grandma, from my mother-in-law.
nice.
And so, oh yeah, I think the blisters have just healed from putting it all together. Um,
Okay.
but the one thing that he was missing is a new dresser.
Okay.
And so we went to a couple places. We couldn't find anything that he liked. We ended up going back to a furniture store, and found a dresser that he liked.
Hmm.
Now, this is the same furniture store that I got my new couch about a year and a half ish ago, and I'm still financing it and paying it off. And so they were like, "Well, you can add this dresser to the line of credit you already have,"
Right.
but it was like $500, and I had a good chunk saved. And so I said, you know what? I don't want to add to this amount of debt. Here's my debit card, $500, and the dresser's ours. We're waiting for it to be delivered, and that's it. So, could I have put it on a card and paid it off over the remaining however many months?
Of
Absolutely.
course.
But it was worth it to not add to the debt, which meant paying more in interest over time. And so I had the ability to do it. I had money saved up, so I just bought it.
Why?
And
And great
and
decision.
it
Yeah.
comes built, so I don't have to put it together.
Ah, even better. Even better. That's the thing too. You're actually going through the process of like, is it worth? Yeah, you might save a little bit, right? You're thinking in your head, I'm saving. I don't have to. I can leave the money in the account, right, and just pay it in increments or have it part of the or, the bill you already have. But again, you made a conscious decision to go, that doesn't make sense. Let me just have I have the money. We need the item, right? As part of the purchase, let's just pay for it. And that's a great process to go through, right? You're kind of thinking things through, seeing how this is going to impact. Is this going to impact my ability to do something else?
Right.
Right? Is this the right decision? Will you from 5 years from now, a year from now, from 6 months, we're always going to go to that. Will your future self appreciate the purchase at that time? You're asking those questions on the fly, but that's a great sequence of way to look at it. So congrats there. That's a great
Yeah.
great story from that standpoint. I
So
wish I
what
did that
else do you
with my daughter's car, because that thing is like 11 and a half, but I'll move on from that thing. Anyway,
used cars can't be lemons. Those are only new cars under Florida law.
there you go.
Um,
Okay, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'll
what's one other thing that's holding us back from building wealth?
So for me, I think so, we talk about crushing debt, right? We talk about building wealth. We talk about knowing your numbers, but I think the easy one too is not knowing your numbers, right? Not having a plan, not having a budget, not having an understanding of where your money is going. I think I'm okay, right? I hear that, right? There's no clear like net worth. Like where are you? Like are we ready for retirement? I mean, when you're 20, maybe not a big deal, but we have people in their 50s who are asking that question and going, I don't know what that is. Like, am I good? Hopefully, you know what? We'll figure it out. Like everything will work out. Everything. It's just like I don't know if that's a good strategy to have, right? Not having a clear savings, not having, an understanding of your retirement plan, even if you're young or old. I think just having that unknown and that ambiguity in your numbers, for me, it just causes unnecessary stress, right? It causes really not a good way to kind of like, oh, let's handle our expenses, let's handle our future, and we're just kind of like, oh, we'll see what happens. So I think not knowing your numbers is one of those kind of situations that puts you in a place where, yeah, that's not gonna, you're not building wealth if you don't know, what you're getting and where it's going.
Yeah, and so here's an interesting question. I am the type of person that will save up all of my bills. So
Hmm.
you get your bills during the month. You typically have until, any bill that we get, we're in February now. So any bill we get in February is probably not due till the first week-ish of March.
Right.
Do you pay your bills as you get them, or do you pay your bills once a month?
That's so the one thing I would be careful on, right? So a lot of times you do have a period of time to be able to pay those invoices, pay those bills. Now, here's the thing. As a business owner, though, like having somebody wait, I get it. Let's like, because they want, that people are relying on that money coming in. And again, let's be honest, right? A lot of our business owners, do they have a nice capital, kind of money in the bank and everything is, no, a lot of folks are still building their kind of, so when that money comes in through the account, they need that to be able to keep the business going. So now again, wrong or indifferent, right? That's a business issue that when we have collecting money. But I try to at least, twice a month where
Yeah.
like if I have the money in the begin by the mid month, I'm having these bills taken care of, these invoices paid, and then at the end of the month doing some of that. I just one of those where it's like I wouldn't want my relationship partners, my vendors, to have to wait that long. Now, again, if it's a big corporation, they could wait 30 days, and that's not a big deal, you know.
Well, and maybe I could have asked the question better because I agree with you that when it comes to the law firm, yeah, I pay bills every 2 weeks, every
Yeah.
week and a half to 2 weeks. But when it comes to my personal bills, I
Mm,
pay once a month. Now, I track everything. So if I go to the grocery store in the middle of the month and I put the grocery store purchase on the debit card, I'll come back and I'll track it that I made that purchase on the debit card. But personally, I don't pay my personal bills until the beginning of the month. Now,
interesting.
for the law firm, you're right. I've got vendors that I've got to
Gotcha.
keep happy
Okay.
and all that kind of stuff. So the vendor, I
Personally,
right,
okay. So personally, that kind of so if you have let's say you're in a good position. It sounds like we're in a good position where we have all the money at the beginning of the month and we basically pay all the bills. And now you're paying forward, or we're not paying behind, we're paying forward, right? So at the beginning of the month, you're paying for all the bills that are available or that are going to be for, let's say, March 1st. It's all of March bills.
right,
Gotcha. Okay. Because
right.
again, if you think about like most people, I'm going to be talking like most people, it's really more, well, on March 1st, I'm paying all the February bills. Probably not the right approach for that. But yes,
No,
if you can have it where you're proactive and having all the bills paid for the month ahead, that's fantastic. And that's great if you're like paying like your salary comes in at the beginning of the month and you have all of have all the money that you're basically allocated from a salary and you can pay that. That sounds like a fantastic idea to kind of do that.
yeah, and that's for me, I know what the law firm needs to generate to break
Hmm.
even every month. And so I keep track that way. And I do look
Perfect.
at my profit and loss. I look at my bank account on a fairly regular basis, a couple of times a week. I look at the bank accounts. A couple of times a week, I'll look at where am I in terms of revenue for the month, and I track all those numbers. And I know personally what I need to generate to break even personally. And so
Sure.
typically what I'll do is I'll pay my bills at the beginning of the month, but then I'll leave a cushion of however much money, 750 bucks, 1,000 bucks,
Yeah.
500
Whatever.
bucks, whatever it is.
Hmm.
I'll leave that cushion in there because you never know when
Just in
you
case.
you want to go out to dinner and put it on the debit card instead of the
Right.
credit card, or you need to buy something. I need to buy the kid. I have to go. My older son is playing flag football and actually last night caught a touchdown, caught a
Nice.
2-point conversion,
Let's go.
had two picks and three pass defenses. Three what
I
PBUs,
guess, yeah, I guess
pass
he's doing
blocks.
well. Okay.
So
Okay.
he's doing well, but
Nice start.
he wants gloves,
Mm.
football receiver gloves. And so we're probably going to go over to Dick's and buy
Yep.
him a, middle of the road. I don't really think he's going to be the next Jerry Rice or one of
Yeah.
those guys. But,
Well,
but
let's use Sauce Gardner, like a little newer for the kids,
there you
like
go.
this guy, you can tell he still stays at his college football there. I got you,
Yeah,
brother.
showing my age. He's no Peter Warwick. He's no
There you
Anquan
go. There you
Bolden.
go.
Um, but I'll get him some gloves. So I've got the
Nice.
cushion saved up for that, for kind of stuff that I need if we want to go to the
Love it.
movies or that kind of stuff.
No, I love the cushion in your budget. That's amazing from that standpoint. And I think for me, if you're gonna get and again, a lot of folks don't have paychecks where it's once a month, right? But
Right.
clients that I do, especially in the beginning, if you're kind of running out, we always say at the end of the month, you have more money at the end of the month, right? A lot of times in the beginning, it's okay to have like, I get all my money at the beginning of the month, but split it up into two pay periods, right? So that you can track some of those kind of expenses between the 1st and the 15th, and then the 15th to the end of the month. We just need to put it in a way that allows you guys to kind of build consistency, a discipline and stability when it comes to the budget. But I love the idea of like, if I have my money at the beginning of the month, especially a salary coming in, hey, plan out the month. You're just basically planning out the whole month and having the cushion that's there for you as well. So I
Right.
love the idea and I love the process that you just taught everybody. So I love it.
Yeah. And my boss is a jerk. He only pays me once a month.
That's
He
all
pays
good,
this
man.
he pays his staff every the 15th and the 30th,
Got it too.
which
Okay.
which is another interesting thing. I used to pay on an every other week cycle. So every 2 weeks the staff would
Sure.
get paid. And I remember as an employee, it's great because 2 months out of the year I get three paychecks.
Correct.
But for me as the business owner, I found that it was hard to track. It was hard to budget. It was harder to track cash flow. It was harder to do all that when I had those 2 months where I had to make three payrolls. Granted, each payroll is slightly less
Right.
because you're doing every other week rather than 15-day chunks. So every payroll on a 26 payroll month payroll period would be cheaper, but it was just harder to track. So I said, forget it. I'm going to pay on the 15th and the last
Make it
day of the
easy.
month. And for myself, I'll pay myself at the end of the month to have money going into the next month. And for me, it's just easier to budget that way.
There you go. Small
So
business owner tip as well. I like that. A little added
there you
bonus
go.
there. Love it. Love it.
So one of the things that resonated with me kind of took off on last week's episode about
Hmm.
ego, and that
Yes.
was the concept of something holding you back from building wealth is the keeping up with the Joneses and
Hmm.
the comparisons and the ego. And it's interesting. I was talking to my boys about this, and they said, "Well, we want to move," and I said, "Well, why?"
Yeah.
And they
Why?
said, because we've been in this house for X number of years and we went over to so and so's house and they just got a new house and their new house is great. And you know what? This house works.
That's what I'm saying.
I don't need to spend the money on a new house because spending the money on a new house means moving expenses.
Correct.
It means time to transfer the homestead and bills and utilities. And then what do I do with this house? And I got to put this house on the market and sell this house and buy the new house, or I got to rent this house out. Do I want to rent this house out? And, so for me, instead of uh, this drive to keep up with the Joneses and this drive to compare yourself to your neighbors, what I try to do is do things to make this house more enjoyable for us.
Yeah.
So, one of the things I'm pricing out right now, I would love to redo my backyard and make it a bigger outdoor living space. Put an outdoor kitchen in, extend the screen, do all that kind of stuff. And if I can do that, there will be portions of this house that feel newer to us,
Correct.
and so we'll get more enjoyment out of the house. We don't have to buy a bigger house.
It's again making decisions to avoid looking behind, right? Buying things just because we want to impress others, keeping up with friends, right? Those are the points you kind of alluded to. I would say like we seem to keep focusing on like assets and things and stuff, right? For me, I'm like, why should are we building an image? Is there like what's the image we're trying to build when we think of that way? When we're trying to be people who are just always chasing, because let me tell you, I go to TikTok and everybody's doing better than me, man. Everybody's better. Everybody's got the money, everybody's got the coffee, everybody's got the girls, everybody's got everything. And I'm just like, but for me, I don't know if that's, is that important to me? Is my version like I agree, like we have a home, we have a place to live. We have a place to raise our kids. And again, they're learning, right? The kids they're always learning from that standpoint. But new is prettier. Wow, it's cleaner. It's newer. Whatever comes to that
you
when it comes
can
to these new purchases.
you can clean your house. I ended up
Abs-
getting when my wife passed away, I promised her that I would keep the house clean, and so I went
Yeah.
out and found a maid service, and they're affordable, and they come over every 3 weeks, and
Mm,
it's great coming home to a clean
a
smelling
clean home.
house. I mean, it lasts until I make dinner, but it's fun coming home to a clean
I thought the
house.
kids come home. That's what like clothes everywhere kind of thing. But I love it. But yeah, I think but you're right. There you go, right? There what are the ways to do like you're in the home for so many years. That's a good, asset that is appreciating over time. Why move when it's like, my God, this is our home. This is where, we are. If there's no need to move, right? Let's just
Right.
make do with what we have instead of this kind of like bigger is better. or if you like where you're living, it's like that's, we've established roots and neighbors and good things like that. So I
Yeah.
love the answer. I love how you're handling that, but it's funny how even our kids are like, yeah, wow, Dad, dude, come on, man. Like we got to get, where's our McMansion?
Yeah.
Where's the mansion on Treasure Island? What are we doing here?
Yes. Yes, your law can't afford a McMansion.
Not at this time. Not at
Not
this
at this
time.
time. So speaking of, what's another thing holding you back from building wealth?
So for me, I think one thing is like helping everyone else before we're stable. Like I have some clients and I have, even myself at times we're like, let's help others. Like I want to make sure I got to lend money. My family my brother needs money, we got to co-sign for, my dad needs a car. There you go. Got to co-sign for that. What I've been seeing also in the news, and again, TikTok is a great source of true information, folks. But paying for adult kids, their bills, like you get to, kids that are getting into their 18, 19, 25, 30 and we have adults that are still paying their, the phone bill's paid, the insurance is paid for them. Like how are we, like we're helping others, right? And then all of a sudden, like we're not helping ourselves, we're not saving as much, we're not doing the foundation for ourselves, and yet we're still out there trying to help others in their financial journey. And I don't think it's helping either one. I
Right.
don't either one of those situations. I don't think we're helping each other by doing that. I feel like there's an enablement somewhere in that mix.
Well, and two things come to mind for me. The first is, when you're on an airplane and they say
Yep.
if the oxygen masks come down, you put yours on first and then you
Hmm.
help your kids put theirs on. But the other thing that occurred to me, I've done a bunch of consultations over the last couple of weeks. We actually just went to a bankruptcy continuing education seminar about
Sure.
the state of the Middle District of Florida and the bankruptcy court.
Okay.
Bankruptcy filings are up since last year.
Okay.
And in the bankruptcy consultations that I've been having lately, one of the things that I'll say to them is, bankruptcy is also based on the value of any assets that you own that are not exempt. So, what kind of assets do you own? And people's first reaction is, I don't have anything. Okay, well, do you have furniture? Yeah, I got furniture. Do you have jewelry? Yeah, I got jewelry. Do you have clothes? Yeah, I got clothes. Do you have some money in the bank? Yeah, I got some money in the bank. What kind of cars do you have? And this is
Right.
where I get people a lot because they're like, well, I have my car, and then me and my wife have the car my wife drives, and then I'm on title to my
To
kid's
the
car.
kids. Hmm.
Well, here's the problem: it is physically impossible for one person to drive two cars at the same time.
Right.
And so when we're talking about filing bankruptcy, I get it. Your kid is the one that drives that car. But if you're making the car payments on it and you're on the title, you own two cars, and
You
we
own the
might
two.
have to give up one of those cars
Correct.
in the bankruptcy. And so that's a function of, and I get it. I'm a parent. My kid
Yep.
is going to be 15 at the end of the year. I'm kind of worried and excited at the same time to help him start to learn how to drive.
Right.
And probably when he gets his first car, I will be on title with him. So I completely understand from a parent, from a human perspective, where that's coming from. But then if I have to file bankruptcy, now I have to figure out I own two cars. What am I going to do with the second car? Because how do I, as a parent, say to my son, we got to give up your car because I need to file bankruptcy?
Right.
So I get it, but at the same time, it's that concept of, help everybody else. Wait till you're stable, then help as many people as you want.
You delay your foundation if you go and help everybody before you're ready. I think that
Right.
that for me is there. I think the one factor in this is if you don't have an emergency fund, if we don't have, if we don't have a foundation in place with a budget and consistency across each month, that's, like you're not ready, right? In that sense to be able to help others. And avoid the whole situation of like, that whole like is it the right time to and say yes instead of just saying yes for everything? Like, hey, maybe right now is a valid answer as well. Like, not right now. I can't
Right.
support you right now. I can't help you at this point. But those are hard. That means you have boundaries that you're setting, and I think those boundaries are kind of lacking when it comes to raising our kids or having, working with siblings or helping with parents. There are a lot of open boundaries right now that people are just like, hey, I'm going to help everybody, and I'm going to borrow from this guy, and I'm going to do that. It just not the right approach, especially if you're trying to put yourself in a position to build wealth over time. I totally agree with you.
Yeah, and I think that's a good point. Waiting for the right time
Hmm.
is is a good strategy to utilize because there's been plenty of times where I've told my kids, we can't get that right now.
Right.
I'm not saying no, we can't get that. I'm
Right.
saying we can't get it right now. You want we can't get that outdoor patio and that outdoor kitchen that I want right now, but I can save up for it. And I know that if XYZ happens, then I'll have enough money then to pay for it. So, they keep saying, when are we going to start on the backyard? Well, I got to save up a little bit more money first, and then
Here's
we'll
a
start on the
shovel.
backyard.
Here's a rake. Go.
Right. Go start digging.
Avoid the sprinkler systems, but please, yeah, but go start digging itself. If you hit oil, you went too deep.
Right.
Love it. Love it. But again, love it. Again, no arguments there.
One of the
Um,
things, go ahead.
no, no, yeah, I was gonna say one other thing that seems to be another wealth, inhibitor for me is mindset. I'm still gonna come back to you know, we say it too often. I am just not good with money. I'm terrible. This is hard. This is not. And for me, a lot of that negative talk is just shame, that shame language, right? I'm not good. This is not good enough. I'm terrible. We do that because one, we do we actually believe that? That's one thing we got to try to figure out. But a lot of times it's just avoidance. Like we don't want to see the debts. We don't want to see the reality. We don't want to do those. And for me, it's like I get it, but eventually you're going to have to confront the situation. You're going to have to
Right.
face it. And I think we use those languages in order to kind of cope with some of that. And I think, we definitely need to change the way we talk about, how we are with money so that we can start that process of actually taking the steps necessary. So, because you're going to need to do it eventually if you want to build wealth anyway. I'm not good with
Right.
money, but, I have $1 million sitting yeah, you're not going to have one if you don't start changing the way you talk about yourself for sure.
And I've caught myself doing that before.
Hmm.
Talking to myself, journaling, whatever. And when I see that I'm going down a negative path, I try to reframe it
Yep.
into a more positive light. So instead of saying, I oh good Lord, I got to spend 2 hours reconciling all the books for the law firm so I can get my tax returns filed. Shift that to, hey, I get to see how well the law firm did
There
last
you
year.
go.
And I
Love
and
it.
I get to file my taxes on time and I won't have to worry about the IRS breathing down my neck that I've unfiled returns and maybe I'll get a refund and I can base then if I'm going to get a refund, maybe I can adjust my withholdings for 2026 so that I get less of a refund when it comes tax time in 2027, but I have
Love it.
more take home pay in my paycheck. So I agree, mindset is huge in terms of building wealth. And if you can reframe from the negative to the positive, um, I mean, even I hate to say it, even with getting, stuffy and sick and having to mute my microphone so I can blow my nose during the podcast. But at the same time, it's not the flu, it's not
Right.
COVID, it's just a stuffy nose. We're almost done with this harsh Florida winter.
Yep. Oof.
And once we get back into the 80s on a regular basis, I'll feel better.
Sure.
So it's reframing that mindset.
I love it. Change your identity first, right? Change the way you think about yourself with money. Cool. Maybe you want to say I'm not good with money. Maybe it's just we don't have the right system in place. We don't have the right process in place. Change the
Yeah,
way we kind of look at certain things and then celebrate those small wins you had mentioned, right? I saved a little bit more this week. I was able to spend a little bit less this week. I was able to start investing a little bit more. Like those are the way we start to change the way we think. and changing the behavior and habits to be able to start to make the changes more permanent. And
Right.
of course, accountability. Hey, as a coach, I'm here to help you kind of not only put certain systems in place, but to say and hold you accountable to follow through. It's, you go to the gym, you're not going to see results if you're not there, right? And you're not consistent with how you're doing that. It's the same thing with money. So,
Wait a minute.
having someone there to be accountable is big too.
You mean to tell me that doing, a set of 10 push-ups isn't going to all of a sudden make me Chris Hemsworth?
If you do them 10 push-ups a day for the next 30 days, it probably won't still get you to that level of look, but I guarantee you you'll feel a lot stronger within that 30 days of being consistent on that exercise. I
Right.
kind of agree there. But yeah,
So,
yeah, be careful there on what you're looking though.
speaking of exercise, one of the things that came up as we were researching today's topic was this concept of avoiding discomfort.
Hmm.
But I'm actually going to change it to being being good in the discomfort, or
Mm.
being comfortable in the discomfort,
Yep.
because it's things like, and we've already touched on some of it, it's things like saying no.
Hmm.
I can't afford to build the outdoor kitchen now, but I can
Yep.
afford it in a month. Or, living below your means. I mean, I
Yep.
love it when we do have these harsh Florida winters and I can turn my air conditioner off, which lowers my
The energy
electric
bill.
bill. And
Hmm.
maybe it's a little cold in the house, but that's where I can put on long sleeves and then it doesn't matter anymore. um, you
Uh,
know, d- Getting rid of the instant gratification. You don't need the instant gratification. So I don't know if it's avoiding discomfort or if it's being comfortable in the discomfort, or maybe both.
yeah, I think a lot of times we always kind of say too, like, this is how it's always been. I've always been bad with money. I've always been in this situation. I always have not had the money necessary to do whatever expect. So when I get the money, I'm like, go into, spend mode, right? And just, enjoy it. So you get the dopamine hit, you get the feeling of like, wow, I was able to purchase and this felt great. Um, but changing, again, it's an idea of like, why are we chasing stuff where we should be chasing more of that connection, that's experience, um, that security that comes
Right.
with having a budget, and that's consistency and that stability that has. So I think we just have to change, what our priorities are when it comes to making money and what we want to do with it, and then be able to apply it to I would say a long-term strategy, right? That allows us to be able to enjoy life and still be able to lay a foundation that allows us to continue to build wealth and be secure as we get older in America, for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think the last one that we have to talk about is confusing consumption with investing.
Mm,
So, in other words, taking on liabilities to buy assets may decrease the value of the asset. A car is a depreciating
car,
asset.
right?
Now, we
Hmm.
need a car to get to and from work, but do you need to buy a six-figure car and a seven-figure house? I remember one of my earliest bankruptcy cases, one of my earliest foreclosure cases, and this is during the meltdown.
Yeah,
I was representing she was a great lady. She was super nice. She was a waitress at one of these, I forget, Village Inn, IHOP, Waffle House, whatever. She
yeah,
was a
sure.
waitress there. She owned I want to say it was like a six or $700,000 house
Wow.
that had, I want to say, maybe 10 to 12 people living in it with her. She was the only one that worked.
Jeez.
How do you survive on a waitress's salary? And again, no disrespect to any
No, yeah,
waitresses,
no. It's
but those, and that might also
that
pull in the
math ain't mathing.
lifestyle creep. And she couldn't afford the house.
I mean, maybe she was helping other people. Maybe other people were taking advantage of her. But if 12 people are in your home and not contributing to, there could be enablement issues. There could
Right.
be there's a ton of things that we could dig deep into that, but yeah, right away it's like that's sad. I feel bad. Yeah, I mean, you must have felt horrible for her to kind of like you going through this situation and you feel like you have 11 other people who are not helping you. It's whew,
Right. We eventually had to get to the point where I had to tell her, look, this house is way
way
more
too
than what you
much.
can afford.
Yeah,
And we ended up selling the house, which paid off the loan, which gave her a little bit of money. And, what do I do with, great Aunt Edna? Sorry, you got to tell great Aunt Edna that she needs
she's
to
got
go
to
out and
figure
find
it
a
out.
job or she needs to go out and find somewhere else to live. Again,
Exactly.
helping everyone else before you help
Hmm.
yourself,
And that's a
avoiding
hard
that.
conversation, but it's a conversation that she probably was kicking down the can, the can down the road way too long that, longer than it needed to be. So,
Right.
unfortunately, the situation, we get into those moments where do we want to be in control or or are we going to get in that position where, the government or the situation is going to, our money is going to tell us what we're going to be doing instead of us
Right.
telling where the money is going and what we're doing with our money. So,
Right.
oof, man, that's a good story, but man, that one hit home for
It
a lot of
was,
folks to imagine.
it was tough. So, meanwhile, at the end of the day, I think we went over 10. We probably went over more than 10 things that are holding you back from building
Yep.
wealth, what you can do about it. And again, if you need help on any of these things, you can always reach out to me. You can always reach
Yeah,
out to
reach out.
George. Yeah,
Absolutely.
this is what we do on a pretty much daily basis. So if
I mean,
you're
think about it like this. Which ones for our listeners, right? Which ones are you struggling with? We'd love to understand. Again, that's where the help comes in, right? Identifying, like, oh, maybe that one resonated a little bit more than the other. But which one are you struggling with, right? And then which one, you know, what move can you do? What one thing can you do differently this week that can you move you
right,
forward into managing some of those things that you're struggling with as well? Because I
yeah,
think understanding and knowing it, but not doing anything about it too is not healthy as well. Like so
right.
think about what's struggling and then what one thing can you try to start doing this week?
Yeah, one thing this week and then one thing next week, or one small
Mm-hmm.
thing today, followed by one small thing tomorrow. Yeah, it all adds up.
I agree.
So, one thing you can do if you want, you can support me and George. You can support the show on
Absolutely.
patreon.com/crushing debt. That'll get you behind the paywall where you can see every time today that I muted my microphone so I could blow my nose. You'll see that on the video. Hopefully, you don't hear it on the audio. Um,
There, good point. No, you were pretty good.
there you go. We still have the Purple Stride Pancreatic Cancer Walk that's coming up April 25 is a Sunday in 2026.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry, a Saturday. April 25
Yeah, I
is
was
a
about to say, okay,
Saturday
yeah, yeah. Good.
in
Okay.
2026. We'll be doing
Good.
the Purple Stride Walk. We're still raising money for pancreatic cancer. Other than that, I think we're about done.
Love, 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 love. Good episode as always, Sean. And I'm
Yeah,
hoping you're
thank
feeling
you.
better. I know the listeners are kind of like, Sean, feel better.
Yeah, I
We
know.
need
I
you
appreciate it.
100% and no laryngitis, Sean, next week. That's what we're looking for.
Today is the first day of it, so I was talking to my girlfriend about it
Hmm.
earlier, and I said, you know what? It starts as a runny nose. It then goes into my chest after a couple days. It then becomes laryngitis after a couple days. And once the laryngitis is gone, I'm good as new.
There you
So
go.
it's just the way, after 53 years, I think I know how my body reacts to being sick.
Well, we
So
hope you get that rest, feel a lot better, and I guess we'll do this again next week, my friend.
yeah, as soon as I'm done reconciling some of these accounts and getting everything over to the CPA, I think I have a date with my bed.
That's the best one.
Or maybe I'll
Your
maybe I'll
pillow.
turn on the TV and watch the end of the Olympics. Who knows?
Ah, there you go. Good
So
idea. Well, if depending on the event, it might help you go to bed so that
you
you
might
might be
help
able
me,
to
right?
take a nap. So we'll see which event will be on for you.
Exactly. But in the meantime, we hope you have more money at the end of the month rather than month at the end of the money. And we will talk to you in next week's episode.